rely on the solid members of our, well, I call it the group, the followers of the channel. I consider all you guys friends of the channel when you take time and listen and make requests. Now, one of these is Andrew Lippert. Andrew's been a great supporter of the channel over the last number of months. He gave me a trio of requests recently. We just did these Alice Valentine requests. We're going to do Tim Wallach, but this request, probably pound for pound, one of the greatest athletes in Detroit Tigers of the 1970s. He really changed the way people looked at the game, where you could come from and what you could do from it. Now, Ron LeFlore's life in baseball and off the field, it's one for the ages. A survivor in every level, basically became a household name because of the movie that was done on him, because of LeVar Burton, great performance around LeFlore's story. And speed to burn, he still holds the Montreal Expos record for most stolen bases in a season. No Washington National has even came close to breaking his record. Now, Ron LeFlore, born June 16, 1948, played 6 seasons with the Tigers before being traded to the Montreal Expos. He eventually retired with the Chicago White Sox in '82. In his career, he stole a grand total of 455 bases and was an American League All-Star selection in 1976 as part of the Glimmer Twins, him and Mark Fidrich, and that big year for Detroit that year. Now, a movie and book were made about his rise to the major leagues after being an inmate at a Jackson State Penitentiary. 1 in a Million, the Ron LeFlore story, again, was made by CBS with the great LeVar Burton in the lead, and it aired in 1978 to high ratings. Now, LeFlore is also the cousin of former Major League outfielder Todd Stevenson. Now, born in Detroit, the right-handed batter and thrower was involved in the criminal justice system as an early age. In the book Breakout, From Prison to the Big Leagues, LeFlore relates growing up in a crime-ridden section of Detroit's east side. Although his parents, John and Georgia, were married, his father was an unemployed alcoholic who rarely took part in family life. His mother was a hard-working nurse's aide who held the family together financially and physically, even feeding Ron while he was a heroin addict and small-time drug dealer. He credits his mother's compassion for his survival during this period. He eventually attended Detroit's Eastern High School. Now, he was introduced to shooting heroin in a neighborhood shooting gallery. He dropped out of school and spent many nights breaking into the Stroh's Brewery on Great Jet Avenue, stealing beer and getting drunk with friends. After dropping out of school, he did not play any organized sports and rarely followed the Tigers, although he had been to Tiger Stadium at least once in childhood, sitting in the upper bleachers with his father. Now, first arrested at 15, he was ultimately sentenced to 5 to 15 years in state prison at the State Prison of Southern Michigan, usually called Jackson State Pen, for armed robbery of a local bar in January 1970, in which he carried a rifle. Now, incarcerated on April 28, 1970, the first organized baseball league LeFlore played in was for inmates. Jimmy Caralla, a fellow inmate who was in prison for extortion, convinced his longtime friend Jimmy Butsikaris, who co-owned a Detroit bar frequented by Detroit sports celebrities, to speak to his good friend Billy Martin, then manager of the Tigers, to ask him to observe LeFlore. Martin visited Jackson State on May 23, 73. He then helped LeFlore get permission for day parole and a tryout at Tiger Stadium that June. Now, in July 73, the Tigers signed LeFlore to a contract which enabled him to meet the conditions for parole. He was paid a $5,000 bonus and $500 per month for the rest of the 73 season. Assigned to the Clinton Pilots of the Class A Midwest League, he was managed by the great Jim Leland. LeFlore hit .277. Now, what LeFlore really shown, not only good speed, good tactics on the base pads, and you can't teach that. Now, the next year he played for the Lakeland Tigers in the Class A Florida League, and after hitting .331 with 45 steals in under 2 games, was promoted to Evansville Triplets of the Class AAA American Association, where he played 9 games. The following season, he made the Major League club out of spring training. Now, in 74, his first season, he split time in center with Mickey Stanley before taking over as a starter in 75. Largely known again as a base stealer, in his prime he also hit for average and moderate power. He, along with the Bird, Mark Fidrich, were the primary reasons that the Tigers' attendance rose in 76 by close to 5,000 per game over the previous year. Now, both players made a 76 American League All-Star squad, yet the team never finished higher than fourth in the AL East standings during LeFlore's tenure, mostly because of Baltimore and the Yankees being so strong, of course. In 77, he hit 16 homers and batted .325, both career highs. But in 78 may have been his career year when he led the league in singles with 153, runs with 126, and stolen bases with 68. He finished second in hits with 198, plate appearances with 741, and at-bats with 666. He also set career highs in games played, plate appearances, at-bats, RBIs, and walks. Now this is where it got completely bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. In 1977, after the 1979 season, where he hit 300 and stole 78 bases, he was traded to the Expos for Dan Schatzner, a very marginal reliever, on December 7th. In 1980, he came closest to playoff action as he stole a career-high 97 bases, becoming the first player to lead both leagues in steals to help the Expos finish the season in second place, only one game behind the eventual World Series champion, Phillies. His 97 steals made him the only fourth NL player since 1900 to have 94 or 5 or more steals in a season, which included Maury Wells, Lou Brock, and Omar Moreno, who stole 96 in 1980. Now in 81, he signed with the White Sox as a free agent, but he played in only combined 173 games in his 2 years there. After failing to make the White Sox roster in the spring of 83, he was released by the team on April 2nd, and he announced his retirement. Soon afterwards, he revealed that he was actually 4 years older than he previously admitted, possibly giving some explanation for his rapid decline with the Red Sox. As of the end of the 2011 season, LeFlore's 76, 78, and 79 campaigns were 10th, 6th, and 3rd respectively on the Tigers' all-time single-season stolen base list, and his 294 steals are 4th in Tigers history. His 97 stolen bases for the Expos at 80, again, are still a record for the Expos national franchise. He also finished in the top 10 in the league in triples, finishing as high as 3rd in 1980 with 11. Now, despite his speed and in contrast to his above-average hitting, he was never adept in the field. In his career, he finished in the top 5 outfielders in errors every year except 79, leading the league in outfield errors in 74, 76, 80, and 82, despite playing only 91 games in 82. His worst moment in the field was when he misplayed a ball into a 4-base error. This happened on August 1st, 82, the game against the Red Sox. He was in center field when the 6th inning, Gary Alclin had a leadoff smash off starter Jerry Koosman. As he drifted back for the catch, the ball struck him on the forehead near the bill of his cap, took a wild bounce and rolled away. Again, Allison came in with a 4-base error. LeFlore also struck out frequently, finishing in the top 10 in his league in strikeouts 5 times, and second in the AL in 75 with 139. Now, final Major League stats: 288 average, 1,283 hits, 731 runs, 172 doubles, 57 triples, 59 home runs, 353 RBIs, 455 stolen bases, 363 base on balls, and a combined 734 on base and slugging. He finished his career with a .968 fielding percentage in center and left field. Now, in 69, while working as a baggage handler for Eastern Airlines, he saw an ad for an umpire school run by MLB umpire Joe Brinkman. He attended a 5-week course, after which top graduates assigned to whatever opening exists on the minor league level, hoping to make it back to the majors eventually as an umpire, but barely missed the opportunity. In 89, he played for the St. Petersburg Pelicans and Bradenton Explorers of the SPBA senior leagues, hitting .328 in 44 games. In 1990, he played for the Florida Tropics of the SPBA. In 18 contests, he had 2 homers and 9 runs. He also had the league's second highest batting average with 4-3 when the league folded. In 94, LeFlore managed the Newburgh Nighthawks of the Northeast League to a 28-55 record. Now, on September 27, 99, he unfortunately was arrested at the closing ceremonies of Tiger Stadium for unpaid child support for his adult daughter and her mother. LeFlore had been living in St. Petersburg at the time and ultimately was not jailed in exchange for making payments. In 2000, LeFlore was hired as a manager for the now defunct Cook County Cheetahs of the Frontier League. He also worked as a manager and coach in the Midwest and Northeastern leagues. In the spring of 2003, he was hired as manager for the Saskatoon Legends franchise in the fledgling Canadian Baseball League, a league that folded midway through its first season. Now, on May 5, 2007, during an autograph signing, he was again arrested for failure to pay child support. Now, unfortunately, in the summer of 2011, LeFlore had his right leg amputated from the knee down due to complications caused by arterial vascular disease, a result of having smoked cigarettes since he was a teenager. He eventually lost 100 pounds as a result of the 3 surgeries. Now, he now gets on and around with a prosthetic leg, but lives in the great community of St. Petersburg, Florida. So, one step away, no pun intended, for being a superstar. If he was a better fielder, he would have been probably, but he got a late start, and lying about his age didn't really help his prospects as well, because it was quite a shock when he was traded to Montreal, because Dan Chancellor, no disrespect to Dan, he wasn't a quality of Ron LeFlore. I think it had more to do with probably a free agency situation than anything else. But him and Cool Breeze Rodney Scott would have hit the base paths, and I still believe, ladies and gentlemen, if Ron LeFlore would have stayed with the Expos for the 1981 season, we would have won the World Series. He was a straw that stirred the drink on the base paths. He would have just done great, like Batum number 2 or number 3, because Rodney was a good leadoff. But him and Rodney Scott, there's an old baseball cards of 2 of them in the front. But then, breaking the record, I guess, for a tandem. Watching them in the base pads, you're a Montreal Expos fan of the late 70s, early 80s. Ron LeFlore has a big part of your heart, because he really enjoyed playing in Montreal. He once said, most people don't know where I live now because I'm in Montreal, but he said the fans know where I am, because he would chant Ron, 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 and he liked his last name for obvious reasons, LeFleur. And there was a print ad saying, come see Montreal for LeFleur and LeFlore. Very cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our latest on our Montreal Expos Vintage Podcast. Andrew, thanks a lot for the requests. And another shout out to different people over the last number of months. Just remember, my voice may have been toast last couple of weeks, but you would appreciate me more back with a voice than no voice. I was lucky to get the Candy Palmer podcast done, my good buddy from the North Shore, who passed away on Christmas Day. I struggled through it. Hopefully by the next 3 or 4 days I'll be better. And next one to come up with the Expos, of course, is a very handsome and a very talented Tim Wallach. Thanks for listening. Bye.